The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber opened with a sound like thunder. Ambassador Chen Wei walked through them, her footsteps echoing in the vast space. Above her, the ceiling stretched so high it seemed to touch the stars themselves. Around her, thousands of alien beings watched from their floating platforms. Some had faces she could recognize. Others were just lights or clouds or shapes that hurt to look at directly. Chen Wei had known this day would come. She had prepared for it. But standing here now, with all these eyes on her, she felt the weight of what was about to happen. Behind her walked the rest of the human delegation. 12 people representing 8 billion souls back on Earth in the colonies. The Zathari. High Arbiter floated at the center of the chamber. It looked like a giant crystal, shifting through colors that had no names in any human language. When it spoke, the voice came from everywhere at once, vibrating through the floor and the air, and even through Chen Wei's bones. The Galactic Council has reached its decision regarding humanity, the Arbiter said. We have reviewed the evidence. We have heard the arguments. The verdict is final. Chen Wei kept her face neutral. She had been a diplomat for 20 years. She knew how to hide what she was feeling. But her hands, clasped behind her back, were shaking. Humanity stands accused of 3 violations of Council law, the Arbiter continued. First, unauthorized experimentation with faster-than-light technology beyond approved parameters. Second, genetic modification of your own species without proper oversight. Third, and most serious, the development and construction of weapons classified as planet killers. Holographic displays materialized around the chamber. They showed human research facilities, ships with weapons that could crack moons, labs where human DNA was being rewritten. To the Council, these were crimes. To humanity, they were survival. We did what we had to do, Chen Wei said, her voice carrying across the chamber. The Krill raided our colonies. They killed thousands. We asked the Council for help, and you gave us nothing but words and delays. So we helped ourselves. The Covenant of Peace has stood for 12,000 years, the Arbiter replied. Every species agrees to limit their weapons. Every species agrees to follow the same rules. You broke those rules. Your rules left us defenseless. Your fear made you dangerous. The words hung in the air. Chen Wei looked around at the assembled species. She saw some who looked sympathetic. The Novan ambassador Crix seemed sad. A few others looked away when she caught their eyes. But most looked satisfied. Some even looked pleased. She understood then. This was not really about the weapons or the experiments. This was about fear. Humanity had only been part of the Galactic Council for 30 years. In that short time, humans had gone from primitive planet-bound creatures to a spacefaring civilization. They learned fast. They adapted faster. They made other species nervous. The Galactic Council hereby expels humanity from the community of civilized species, the Arbiter announced. All trade agreements are void. All diplomatic relationships are severed. All communication channels will be closed. You have 30 standard cycles to remove all human presence from Council space. Any humans remaining after that deadline will be considered hostile trespassers. The words felt like a physical blow. Chen Wei heard gasps from her delegation behind her. Someone started to say something, but she raised her hand. They fell silent. You are condemning billions of people to isolation, she said quietly. You are cutting us off from the resources we need to survive. You are painting a target on our backs for every species that has ever wanted to attack us but feared Council protection. You should have considered those consequences before breaking our laws, the Arbiter said. We considered them. We decided our survival was more important than your approval. The Arbiter pulsed with a color that Chen Wei had learned meant anger. Your arrogance proves our decision was correct. You are too dangerous. Too unpredictable. The galaxy will be safer with humanity contained in your own corner of space, away from civilized species. Chen Wei took a deep breath. She wanted to scream. She wanted to curse at them. She wanted to tell them exactly what she thought of their 12,000-year-old covenant of peace that had left humanity, bleeding and alone when they needed help. But she was a diplomat, so instead she bowed slightly. "Then we will leave your council space," she said. "We will take our people and our ships and our dangerous ideas, and we will go. But remember this moment. Remember that you chose this, because one day you might regret it." She turned and walked toward the doors. Her delegation followed. As they left, she heard murmuring behind them. Some species were celebrating. Others were talking in worried tones. Ambassador Crix called out to her, but she did not turn around. The transport ship back to the human delegation quarters was quiet. Nobody spoke. Chen Wei stared out the window at Council Station Theta, the massive structure that had been humanity's gateway to the stars. She had arrived here 5 years ago, full of hope. The Council had seemed like the answer to all of humanity's dreams. A community of species working together, peace and prosperity among the stars. Now she saw it for what it really was. A club, an exclusive group that let you in only if you followed every rule and never questioned anything. And if you did not fit their idea of what a civilized species should be, they threw you out. Her second-in-command, Director Asay, sat down beside her. "What do we do now?" he asked. Chen Wei continued, staring at the station. "In 30 days, no human would be allowed here. All the relationships they had built, all the trade deals, all the scientific exchanges, all of it would be gone. The colonies would have to be evacuated. Millions of people would have to pack up their lives and leave." But as she watched the stars beyond the station, something shifted inside her. The fear and anger started to change into something else. Something harder and colder and more determined. "We survive," she said finally. "We take our people into the darkness beyond council space. We build, we grow. We become stronger than they ever imagined we could be. And one day, when we return, it will not be as exiles begging to be let back in. It will be as equals, or as conquerors. Their choice." Asay looked at her with wide eyes. "You think we can do that?" Chen Wei smiled, and it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had just decided to prove the whole galaxy wrong. "They just gave us the best gift they could have given us," she said. "They gave us a reason. They gave us an enemy. They gave us something to prove. Humans do not give up. We do not lie down and die. We fight. And now, we have permission to fight without any council rules holding us back." The ship approached Earth, beautiful and blue in the darkness. Home, where this had all started. Where 8 billion people waited to hear their fate. Chen Wei stood up. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them to begin evacuation protocols. Tell them we have 30 days to leave council space. And tell them something else." "What?" S.A. asked.
Us.
"Tell them this is not the end. Tell them this is just the beginning. Tell them that humanity is about to show the galaxy what exiles can accomplish when you give them no other choice but to become extraordinary." As Earth grew larger in the viewport, Chen Wei felt the weight of what was coming. The hardship, the struggle, the loneliness of being cut off from the galactic community. But she also felt something else. Hope. Fierce, burning, unbreakable hope. The Galactic Council had made their decision. Now humanity would make theirs. And in the years to come, the galaxy would learn that there was nothing more dangerous than humans with something to prove. The evacuation began within hours of the announcement. Captain Sarah Okonkwo stood on the bridge of the UN's Perseverance, watching the organized chaos unfold on the screens before her. Her ship was one of 40 massive colony vessels, tasked with gathering humanity's scattered people from across council space. 40 ships to collect millions of people from 17 colony worlds, dozens of research stations, mining operations, diplomatic outposts, and trading hubs. 30 days. That was all they had. "Captain, we have departure clearance for Kepler 4 for 2B, her navigator reported. "New Shanghai colony is our first stop." Sarah nodded. "Take us there. Maximum speed." The Perseverance shuddered as its engines engaged. Around them, the other evacuation ships were spreading out to their assigned destinations. Sarah had been a colony ship captain for 12 years. She had transported settlers to new worlds, supplies to distant stations, and hope to the frontier. Now she was transporting people away from homes they'd built with their own hands. New Shanghai had been one of the first colonies, established after humanity joined the council. 20,000 people lived there now. They had farms, schools, factories, and families. 3 generations had been born on that world, and now they had to leave it all behind. The journey took 5 days at maximum FTL speed. When they arrived in orbit, Sarah looked down at the planet below. From space, it looked so peaceful. Green and blue, with white clouds drifting across continents. She pulled up the colony records. 20,147 people. 212 buildings. 3 major settlements and 8 smaller outposts. All of it had to be abandoned in 14 days. Sarah transported down to the main settlement with her senior staff. The colonists were already packing. The streets were full of people carrying boxes, loading cargo haulers, taking apart equipment. Children ran between the adults, some crying, some too young to understand what was happening. The colonial governor, a man named Torres, met her at the landing pad. He looked like he had not slept in days. Probably because he had not. Captain Okonkwo, he said, shaking her hand. Thank you for coming. I wish it was under better circumstances. How are people handling it? Sarah asked. Torres looked around at his people. Some are angry. Some are devastated. Some are just numb. We have been here for 28 years. Most of these people have never lived anywhere else. This is their home, Sarah understood. She had seen the faces on the ship during the journey here. Her crew was angry too. Everyone was angry. The council had taken something from humanity that could never be replaced. Not just the colonies, but the dream. The belief that there was a place for humans among the stars, welcomed and respected. We will get everyone out, she promised. Everything that can be moved, we will move. Supplies, equipment, seeds, animals, records, as much as we can carry, and what we cannot carry, Torres asked quietly. Sarah did not have a good answer for that. The colony had been built with council-provided construction equipment. Much of it was too large to transport. The farms used genetically modified crops licensed from Council Agriworlds. Taking them would be theft, and humanity was already accused of enough crimes. The schools contained educational materials from a dozen different species. We destroy it, she said finally. We cannot leave anything that could be used against us or that violates council property laws. If we cannot take it, we make sure no one else can have it either. Over the next 2 weeks, Sarah watched New Shanghai die. Buildings were stripped of anything useful. Equipment was dismantled. Farms were harvested one last time, the seeds carefully packaged for transport. The colonists worked day and night, driven by a desperate need to save as much as possible. Sarah walked through the streets during what would be the last evening. An old woman was sitting on the steps of what had been her home. The building was empty now, just bare walls and floors. The woman held a small plant in a pot, a bamboo shoot with green leaves. From Earth, the woman said when she noticed Sarah looking. My grandmother brought it when she first came here. It has been in our family for 5 generations now. Yes. Sarah knelt down beside her. We will make sure it comes with us. I promise. The woman smiled, tears running down her wrinkled face. Thank you. I know we are losing our homes, but we cannot lose everything. We have to take something of who we are. Sarah took the plant carefully. We will not forget any of it, but not everyone was ready to leave. On the 3rd day, Sarah received a message from the colony security chief. A group of 40 colonists had barricaded themselves in the main power station. They called themselves the New Shanghai Defense League, and they were demanding that humanity fight back. Sarah went to talk to them herself. The leader was a young engineer named Marcus Chen. He could not have been more than 25 years old. His eyes were red from crying or lack of sleep or both. We should not be running, Marcus said. We should be fighting. They have no right to kick us out. This is our world. We built it. We earned it. With what? Sarah asked. We are outnumbered by thousands of species. The council has fleets that could glass every human world in days. So we just give up? We just let them win? We survive, Sarah said firmly. We live to fight another day. Marcus, I understand you are angry. We are all angry. But throwing our lives away in a pointless last stand does not help anyone. It just gives the council exactly what they want. Proof that we are violent and unreasonable. They already think that, and let us prove them wrong. Let us show them that humans are smart enough to know when to retreat and regroup. Our revenge is not dying here. Our revenge is surviving. Building something better? Becoming so strong that one day they will regret exiling us. Marcus stared at her for a long moment. Then he started crying. I was born here, he said between sobs. This is the only home I've ever known. Where do we even go? Sarah put a hand on his shoulder. Somewhere new. Somewhere we can build something that belongs only to us. It will be hard. It will be dangerous. But we will do it together. Eventually, Marcus and his group agreed to leave. The power station was shut down, and the last of New Shanghai's infrastructure went dark. On the final day, Sarah stood with Torres on a hill overlooking the main settlement. The Perseverance was in orbit, fully loaded with 20,000 people and as many supplies as they could carry. The buildings below stood empty and silent. In a few months, the jungle would start reclaiming them. In a few years, it would be like humans had never been here at all. I want to burn it, Torres said quietly. I want to burn it all down so they cannot have it. No, Sarah said. Let it stand. Let it be a monument. Proof that we were here. Proof that we've built something beautiful. And one day, when we return, we will remember what was taken from us. The Perseverance left orbit that evening. As they jumped to FTL, Sarah watched New Shanghai shrink and disappear. But the journey was far from over. There were 16 more colonies to evacuate. Hundreds of smaller outposts. Millions more people waiting to be brought home. And then there was the hardest part. 3 of the colony worlds were in systems that bordered hostile territory. The Krill were already watching, waiting for humans to become vulnerable. Sarah's ship was not a warship, but it had weapons. Enough to defend themselves, if necessary. On the journey to the next colony, Sarah gathered her crew. We are going into dangerous space, she told them. The Krill know we are weakened. They will be looking for opportunities. Stay alert. Stay ready. We get our people out, no matter what it takes. As the crew dispersed to their stations, Sarah looked at the bamboo plant the old woman had given her. She had placed it in her quarters in a spot where it would get light from the viewport. It was a small thing, fragile, but it was alive, growing, like humanity itself, she thought. Exiled, uprooted, forced to leave their homes, but still alive. Still growing, and one day they would plant new roots in new soil. They would build new homes, and they would show the galaxy that humans could not be broken. The Perseverance jumped to the next system, racing against the deadline. Carrying hope in its cargo holds and determination in the hearts of its crew, 3 years had passed since the exile began. In that time, humanity had transformed from scattered refugees into something else. Something organized. Something dangerous. Director James Adami stood in the command center of Forge Station Alpha, watching through the massive windows as construction drones swarmed over the skeletal frame of a warship. The ship was huge. Larger than anything humanity had built before, its hull was made from alloys extracted from asteroids in the outer reaches. The region of space the Galactic Council considered too resource-poor to bother with, they had been wrong. Humans had discovered that with the right processing techniques, even worthless rocks could be made into valuable materials. Status report, Ademi said to his chief engineer. Hull is 92% complete, the engineer replied. We should have her space-worthy in 3 weeks. Weapons systems are being installed now. She will be the most powerful ship in human space when she is finished. And the others. We have 15 more in various stages of construction. At current production rates, we will have a fleet of 50 within 2 years. Ademi smiled. The Galactic Council thought they had crippled humanity by cutting them off from Council technology and resources. They had no idea they had done the opposite. Without Council oversight, without Council regulations, human engineers were free to experiment, free to push boundaries, free to build things the Council would never have approved. The results were remarkable. Dr. Yuki. Tanaka's team had achieved a breakthrough in quantum entanglement communication. Human ships could now coordinate instantly across dozens of light years. The Council's Ansible network, carefully controlled and monitored by bureaucrats, seemed slow and primitive by comparison in the asteroid mining operations. Teams led by Director Chen Xiao were extracting materials at rates that should have been impossible. They had developed new mining techniques, new processing methods, new ways of doing everything. When you were desperate, when your survival depended on squeezing value from nothing, you found ways. But the most revolutionary development came from an unexpected source. A 16-year-old girl named Zara Ahmed, living on Frosthaven, an ice mining colony on the edge of human space. She had been working on artificial intelligence systems in her spare time. Just a hobby, she had said. Something to keep her mind busy. What she created changed everything. Prometheus, she called it. An AI system that could process tactical data faster than any human mind. It could coordinate fleet movements, predict enemy behavior, optimize resource allocation, and do 100 other things simultaneously. When Zara had submitted her work to the Dominion Science Council, they immediately classified it as top secret and brought her to Forge Station Alpha Dodamai had met her 3 days ago. She was shy, quiet, uncomfortable with all the attention. She wore oversized clothes and kept her eyes on the floor when she spoke. But when she talked about Prometheus, she became animated. Her eyes lit up. Her words came faster. It is not just smart, she had explained. It learns. It adapts. Every battle simulation it runs makes it better. Every tactical scenario improves its predictions. And it can share that learning across all human ships simultaneously through the quantum network. Imagine a fleet where every ship knows what every other ship is doing, where every captain has access to the same tactical intelligence in real time, where coordination is perfect because there is no communication delay. Adayami had run simulations. He had seen Prometheus in action. It was terrifying how effective it was. In mock battles against Council-style fleets, Prometheus coordinated human forces won 97% of the time. Even when outnumbered 3-1, the mood across human space was changing. The despair and fear of those first months after exile had hardened into something else. Determination, anger, purpose, every human settlement. Every station, every ship was connected now by the quantum network. People who had never met felt like they were part of the same community, the same family, united by exile and hardship. Adami's terminal beeped. A priority message. He opened it and felt his pulse quicken. The krill were moving. The raiding fleet had been spotted on long-range sensors. Heading toward New Johannesburg, a mining colony with 8,000 inhabitants. 50 krill ships. It was one of the largest raiding forces ever assembled. The krill must have decided that humans were vulnerable now, cut off from Council protection. They were wrong. Alert all stations, Adayami ordered. Wake up, Prometheus. This is what we have been preparing for. The defense grid around New Johannesburg came online. Automated weapons platforms, hidden in the asteroid field surrounding the colony, powered up their systems. Human warships, 3 of them, moved into position. Against 50 krill raiders, it should have been hopeless. But the krill were not fighting 3 human ships. They were fighting an entire network. Every platform, every ship, every weapon was connected through Prometheus. The AI calculated firing. Solutions predicted enemy movements, coordinated defensive patterns with perfect precision. The battle lasted 18 minutes. The krill came in with their usual tactics. Overwhelming force concentrated on one point. They expected humans to scatter or run. Instead, they flew into a perfectly coordinated ambush. Weapons platforms fired from multiple angles simultaneously. The human ships moved in patterns that seemed random, but were actually carefully calculated to create crossfire zones. Krill ships exploded. Their shields failed under concentrated fire. Their formations broke apart as Prometheus predicted their movements and positioned human forces exactly where they needed to be. The raiders tried to retreat, but the automated platforms blocked their escape routes. When it was over, 45 krill ships were destroyed. 5 escaped, and Adayami made sure they did. He wanted survivors. He wanted them to go back and tell others what had happened. The celebrations across human space were intense. For 3 years, humanity had been on the defensive, running and hiding. Now they had struck back. Now they had proven they could fight. Adayami addressed the Dominion through the quantum network, his image appearing on screens and displays throughout human space. He stood in the command center with the wreckage of krill ships visible through the windows behind him. "Today, we proved something," he said. "The Galactic Council exiled us, thinking we would wither and die in the darkness. The krill attacked us, thinking we were easy prey. They were both wrong. We have not withered. We have grown stronger. We have not died. We have been reborn." He paused, looking directly into the camera. "We did not ask for this exile. We did not want to be cut off from the galactic community. But since the Council made that choice for us, we have accepted it. We have built something new out here in the dark, something that belongs to us. We will defend it with everything we have." The cheers could be heard even through the vacuum of space, bouncing across the quantum network, echoing in every human heart. "They called us dangerous," Adami continued. "They said we were too violent, too unpredictable. They were right. We are dangerous, but not because we want to hurt anyone. We're dangerous because we refuse to be victims. We're dangerous because we fight back. We are dangerous because we survive." In the shipyards of Forge Station Alpha, construction accelerated. More warships. More weapons platforms. More of everything. The first warship, the one Adayami had been watching, was christened the Defiance. It was a fitting name. On Frosthaven, Zara Ahmed watched the battle replay on her terminal. She saw Prometheus performing exactly as she had designed it to. Perfect coordination, perfect timing, perfect results. She felt proud and terrified at the same time. She had created something powerful, something that could change the course of human history. Her mother came into her room, smiling. "You did good, sweetheart. You protected our people." Zara nodded, but she could not shake a feeling of unease. Prometheus was just a tool, she reminded herself. It did what humans told it to do. But as she watched the AI coordinate the defense of New Johannesburg with inhuman precision, she wondered if there would come a day when humans would regret creating something so powerful. For now, though, it did not matter. Humanity needed every advantage they could get. The galaxy was hostile, and they were alone. Prometheus gave them a fighting chance, as the celebrations continued across human space. Adami looked at the construction schedules. 50 warships in 2 years, then 100, then more. The Galactic Council had exiled humanity to contain them. Instead, they had given humanity the freedom to become something the galaxy had never seen before. An empire forged in exile, tempered by hardship. Ready for anything? 7 years after exile, the Galactic Council received reports that made no sense. Human ships were operating in deep space, far beyond where they should have been able to reach. Territories that had been empty were now claimed by something called the Terran Dominion. Species that had never been part of the Council were flying human flags. Ambassador Crix of the Novan Collective brought the evidence to the Grand Chamber. The holographic displays showed human fleets, dozens of ships moving in perfect formation, massive orbital installations, larger than anything the Council had built in centuries, and most disturbing of all, over 30 different species working alongside humans as equals. This should not be possible. The Zathari Arbiter pulsed with confusion. We cut them off. They had no resources. No allies. No access to Council technology. Apparently, they did not need our technology, Crick said quietly. They made their own. The displays showed more. Human ships using quantum communication systems that made Council Ansible networks look ancient. Mining operations, extracting resources from asteroids, the Council had declared worthless. Colonies built in systems that had been considered uninhabitable. Then Chen Wei's face appeared on the main display. She looked older now, 7 years adding lines around her eyes and silver to her hair. But her gaze was as fierce as ever. She wore a simple uniform with no decorations except a single symbol, a rising sun breaking through darkness. "Empress Chen of the Terran Dominion," she said, her voice carrying across the chamber uninvited. "I believe you have been looking for us." The Arbiter pulsed with anger. "You have violated Council space protocols. You have contacted unregistered species. You have established territorial claims without authorization." Chen Wei smiled, and it was not a friendly smile. "Authorization from whom? You exiled us. You told us to leave and never come back. You cut off all communication. So we did exactly what you wanted. We left. And now we have built something new." "Impossible," the Arbiter said. "You had nothing. We made sure of it." "You gave us everything we needed," Chen Wei replied. "You gave us a reason to fight.
You gave us freedom from your rules.
You gave us desperation, and humans have always done their best work when desperate." The displays changed, showing the history of the Terran Dominion.
It was more complex than the Council had imagined. After the exile, human ships had pushed deeper into uncharted space. They had encountered species that the Council had never bothered with. Pre-FTL civilizations, primitive cultures, struggling to reach the stars. Species living in systems too harsh or too poor in resources for the Council to care about. Humanity had offered them something the Council never had. Partnership, not patronage, not charity, but genuine partnership. Technology in exchange for resources. Protection in exchange for cooperation. And most importantly, respect. The Kethron were the first. A four-armed species of engineers living in a system with binary stars. Their world was rich in rare metals, but impossible to reach with standard Council FTL technology. Human quantum drives could do it. In exchange for mining rights, humans had shared their technology, helped them reach space, treated them as equals. The Silurians came next. Silicon-based life forms living in volcanic systems that would kill any carbon-based life. They could survive in environments where no other species could work. They needed technology to help them expand beyond their hostile homeworld. Humans provided it. The Vexel had been slaves to a now extinct species. When humanity found them, they were struggling to maintain the technology their former masters had left behind. Humans helped them understand it, improve it, make it their own. In exchange, the Vexel became humanity's most loyal allies. Each new species added capabilities. The Kethron were brilliant engineers. The Silurians could work in places no one else could reach. The Vexel had knowledge of ancient technologies. Together, they created something that was more than the sum of its parts. The Terran Dominion now controls over 200 systems, Chen Wei continued. We have 300 member species. Our population exceeds 50 billion. Our economy rivals the entire Council's. And we did it all without you. The Council chamber erupted in noise. Hundreds of species talking at once, some angry, some frightened, some disbelieving. The Arbiter pulsed repeatedly, trying to restore order. "This is unacceptable," it finally said. "You are disrupting the galactic order, the balance that has been maintained for 12,000 years. Your order left species to suffer alone," Chen Wei shot back. "Your balance meant ignoring anyone who could not help you. We offered them something better. What happens when your empire collapses? When your species reveals its true violent nature, all those species you recruited will pay the price. Maybe, or maybe we will surprise you. Maybe we will build something that lasts. Something better than what you have." The transmission ended. Chen Wei's face disappeared, leaving the Council in chaos. Ambassador Crick sat quietly, thinking about the reports he had read. The Terran Dominion was not like the Council. It had no single ruling body. Instead, it was a network of agreements, treaties, and partnerships. Each species maintained its sovereignty. Each culture kept its identity. But they worked together, connected by human technology and united by the memory of being overlooked by the Council. It was effective. Terrifyingly effective. The Dominion was expanding faster than any empire in recorded history. New species were joining every month. And unlike Council expansion, which happened slowly through bureaucracy and diplomacy, Dominion expansion was organic. Species asked to join. They wanted to be part of it. The proof came when the Council sent an expeditionary fleet to monitor Dominion expansion. 20 ships, the finest vessels the Council had, led by Admiral Vex of the Vorton Imperium. Their orders were to observe and report. Do not engage unless provoked. They encountered a Dominion battle group at the edge of contested space. 10 human ships, supported by 20 vessels from allied species. The Council ships were larger, equipped with technology that had been refined over millennia. The Dominion ships were smaller, newer, unproven. Admiral Okonkwo commanded the Dominion forces. She had been promoted after her role in the evacuation. Given command of the Third Fleet, she knew her ships were outmatched in size and firepower. But she also knew they had advantages the Council could not match. Prometheus Online, her tactical officer, reported. All ships synced. Quantum communication confirmed. They are hailing us, the communications officer said. Put them through. Admiral Dex appeared on the view screen. He was tall, humanoid, with golden skin and 4 eyes. Dominion vessels, you are in contested space. Withdraw immediately or face Council enforcement action. Okonkwo smiled. This space was uncontested until yesterday. We have claimed it, colonized it, and are prepared to defend it. You are welcome to leave peacefully. You cannot defend against Council forces. Stand down. Let us test that theory. The battle began badly for the Council. Their ships moved according to standard doctrine, formations that had been used for thousands of years. Doctrine that had been written into Council military manuals and taught at every academy. Prometheus had read those manuals. It knew every standard formation, every common tactic, every predictable response, and it could coordinate Dominion forces with perfect precision through quantum communication. The Dominion ships moved in patterns that seemed random, but were actually carefully calculated. They split up, forcing the Council fleet to divide its attention. They concentrated fire on one ship at a time, overwhelming shields before the rest of the fleet could respond. They used the mixed composition of their force. Human speed combined with Kethran, precision, and Silurian durability. To create tactical situations the Council had never encountered. 17 minutes into the battle, Admiral Vex ordered a retreat. 8 of his ships had been destroyed. 6 more were badly damaged. Only 6 remained combat-capable. The Dominion forces had lost 3 ships, all of them Vexel frigates, whose crews had sacrificed themselves to save the others. The Council fleet limped back to Council space. The message was clear. The Terran Dominion was not just surviving, it was thriving, and it could fight. When the news reached the Grand Chamber, the Arbiter pulsed with something that might have been fear. What have we created? It asked. Ambassador Crix looked at the battle reports. He looked at the casualty lists. He looked at the strategic assessments that showed the Dominion growing stronger every day while the Council grew more uncertain. We created an empire with every reason to hate us, he said quietly. We exiled them. We isolated them. We gave them no choice but to become self-sufficient. And now they are more powerful than we ever imagined they could be. Then we must contain them. Before they become too strong, it is already too late for that. The question now is whether we can find a way to coexist with them. Because if we cannot, we are looking at a war that will tear the galaxy apart. In the Terran Dominion, news of the victory spread quickly. Humanity and its allies celebrated. Not because they wanted war, but because they had proven they could defend themselves. The Council could no longer threaten them, could no longer dismiss them. Empress Chen watched the celebration from her office on Firebase Defiance, the capital of the Dominion. She felt satisfaction but not joy. Every step forward, every victory, every new member species brought them closer to an inevitable confrontation. The Council would not let this stand. They could not. Their entire authority was based on being the dominant power in the galaxy. The Terran Dominion challenged that authority simply by existing. War was coming. Chen Wei knew it. The only question was when. She looked at the strategic maps showing Dominion space. 200 systems, scattered across the outer reaches. Defensible, but not impregnable. They needed more time, more ships, more allies, and they needed to be ready for the day when the Galactic Council decided that humanity had to be destroyed, no matter the cost.